Alright, I got a discount for you. We're talking Xbox Live. Loads of gaming discounts. All you have to do is go to my description, copy my code from the description, paste my code. Woof, it's gaming time. Yes, tally ho there, champs. Now, merry holidays, Christmas, whatever you freaking celebrate. Happy one to you. Let's review gorgeous over here, the Alienware m17 gaming laptop. And I've been waiting a long time for any of these Alienware M series with the Legend ID, and I'm not disappointed. This machine is not only gorgeous, it does what it says. Thin and light premium gaming laptops with the Legend ID. Start at around $13.99 US for this 17-inch model here. The one I have configured is about $3,100 US. And here in Australia, mate, they start at about $3,100. The one I have configured here with the RTX 2080 is 2.7K in the US, around 4.7K in Australia. Welcome to Australia. Yeah, the prices here are crazy. For everything, that is. Now you can get i7 up to i9, 6-core 45 watt part. Now this model I have here comes with an i7 9750H 6-core 45 watt CPU, 16 gigabytes of DDR, 2666 megahertz soldered. Cannot upgrade it. Also comes with an RTX 2080 Max-Q. You can get a 1660 graphics card all the way up to RTX 2080 T-Max-Q. Now all the way up to RTX 2060, they're not Max-Q, they're the full Max-P parts. This one also comes with soldered in Wi-Fi 6 as well, 2x2 with Bluetooth 5. As you would expect, Alienware, it looks amazing. For me, they make the most unique, sort of best looking gaming laptops, especially with this white one here. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Lunar white, you can get also dark side of the moon. You know, you got zone lighting, premium build qualities, premium materials. And the first thing that will hit you when you get this 17 inch is, wow, is this really a 17 inch? It's so thin. It is really thin, and it's easy to handle because it's so thin. And that's why the RAM's soldered, and that's why the Wi-Fi is soldered. But fortunately, you can replace the battery if you need to. Also, you got two M.2 slots, so you can upgrade the hard drives in this, the SSDs at least, and you can have two of them, so that's great. Now, you can argue with the choice they made, soldering this stuff on the RAM, etc., but you ain't going to go this thin with a laptop with RAM slots. It won't be this thin. So that's the choice they made. It's up to you if you agree with it or not, but I will say we need more than 16 gigs. 16 gigs is the max at the moment. They say they're bringing out a 32, so stay tuned for that one. I mean, they just do premium well. Magnesium alloy, exterior shell, copper alloy, thermal structures. It's just, yeah, it is all premium. Comes in at 2.63 kilos, which is awesome for a 17-inch, 5.8 pounds that is, and it's 20.5 millimeters thick. Comes with all the ports you want on the back, you know, HDMI, mini display port, Thunderbolt 3, awesome. You also have the Alienware graphics amplifier, which is the best eGPU solution you can get. Also get Ethernet, 3 USB Type A's, and audio in and out. Well, that's a combination audio in and out. You don't get separate lines for those, which I do wish it had. Now, the sound in this is okay. I was expecting more bass. I was expecting, you know, when you get a bigger laptop, I expect better sound. I don't know if I'm nuts or whatever, but sound is okay. It's nothing to rave about. It's just, yeah, it's adequate. I was hoping for more bass, more, you know, more oomph, but you're going to be wearing a headset anyway. One thing that is the best keyboard. Not only the Alienware FX, like the RGB is like amazing on this, but the keyboard is probably equal best keyboard I've ever used on any laptop, as good as Lenovo's keyboards. Like, just amazing keyboard to use. Trackpad it is full size though, and the trackpad is a bit to the left, which the trackpad is really good as well. It's one of the better Windows ones. I prefer a compact keyboard. I don't like the full size because the trackpad goes more on the left. So that's going to be user preference, but the actual keyboard itself, just wow. It is amazing keyboard. 1.7 millimeters of travel there. It's just, yeah. No one's going to say this keyboard's bad. It is the ultimate in keyboards. Display has a 7.3 inch full HD display, 144 Hz, 9 millisecond response, 300 nit panel, and yeah, it's around 100% sRGB, and yeah, it does reach that 300 nits. It's not the brightest display I've seen, but once you get to 300 nits, I think that's perfectly fine. It is a great display. It's a great panel. I would have liked to send a 1440p option or maybe even a 4K option, but once you go to 17 inches, your panel selection goes down compared to 15 inches. Like 15 inches, you can get loads of different panels. When you get to 17, they don't make that many of them. So it is great for gaming, super connected feeling. You're going to love it for gaming. The display is really good. Also get Tobii eye tracking in there if you like that sort of thing. Now it comes with a 240 watt power supply and a 76 watt hour battery. That's good for, just over sort of 3 hours, sort of normal use, web surfing, stuff like that. It's on par with a 17-inch big screen sort of gaming laptop. And considering it's so thin, you're not going to put a really big battery in this, are you? So yeah, the battery life is on par with everything else. It's okay, but don't expect all day battery life with this. It's actually quite quiet. Unless you put it in one of the overclock modes, which you're going to see the gaming stuff in a sec. Unless you put it in the overclock mode or the high power mode or full throttle, it's very quiet. Now you don't get the best performance when you just leave it in the normal mode. It's so good to be able to game on a laptop and not be deafened. I cannot stress enough how much I get deafened by gaming laptops. This one's really good. Of course, you can put it in full blast mode if you want. You can do that. If you've got a headset on, maybe, yeah, you can do that, no problems. But anyway, I'll get onto gaming in a sec. Upgradability, no upgradability, as I said before. Heat and thermals, we'll get into the gaming bit right now. Woof. Have a look at this thing I've been waiting a very long time to review, the Alienware 17M or M17. I will be getting the M15 in as soon as I can, but for all intensive purposes, this will perform pretty much very similar to the 15-inch, if not identical. So this Alienware M17 is rocking Dell's new Legend ID. So this is the new design language of the Alienware and it looks friggin' stunning. This is the Lunar White. You can get the dark side of the moon as well. It looks friggin' amazing. Now, it's always been the case that anytime anyone asks me about any laptop, it's inevitably an Alienware. They're the ones I get the comments on the most. What is that? Remember the old ones with the strip light and stuff like that? Yeah, it's always the Alienware because they look cool. Might not be everyone's taste, but it's certainly unique. It looks cool. And this thing is like, it's a 17-inch. And you get the gorgeous 17-inch display, 1080p, 144 Hz, super connected feeling, and you have the specs in this to make use of that display. I mean, I started actually testing the games on high, and yeah, they were just going over 144 frames, and I'm thinking, just let's turn it up to 11, let's go up to ultra. Alright, so if we have a look here, I actually had a minus 100 millivolt undervolt with all this game testing, and I just turned it up to 11. Which is basically, if I go to this overclock profile, I used overclock profile 1, which actually gives me 87 limit on the GPU, and it gives me 50 megahertz core clock and memory clock of 150 megahertz overclock. Now, if we go to overclock 2, I didn't leave it on this because it kept on crashing every now and then. So yeah, this is a bit too aggressive. That's 100 megahertz on the GPU and 300 megahertz on the memory. Now, this will vary. Some will do the overclock 2 profile, no problems, but everything I used was with this overclock 1 profile, and then I just actually turned everything up to 11. I just turned the thermals up to full speed and then the power performance to high performance. So everything turned up to 11, minus 100 millivolts. Let's do it. So pretty much every single game I tested was ultra 1080p. I've already said a million times, 17-inch display is the best for gaming. It's just bigger. Bigger is better. That's what he said. Now, in terms of specs, this one is a monster. 6-core i7 9750H, the backbone of gaming laptops, 45 watt. You can get an i9 as well. And this one comes with a RTX 2080 Max Q. So just the specs alone, it's going to perform like a friggin' beast. They don't just look different. They've improved the fans, more fan blades. They're able to shift over 20% more air. They've done a lot of work on the VRM. That's one thing they sort of stressed. It should be one of the best VRMs out there. But all this means nothing. That's a lot of stuff they tell you, but if it doesn't perform well, what's the point of all that? Of course, you get all the ports for gaming, Thunderbolt 3. You get the graphics amp too. When it comes to thermals, I will say all the games I did test with the minus 100 millivolt, I'll show you the difference between undervolt and not undervolt in a sec. And when it comes to thermals, it's good on the most part, I will say. That GPU runs super cool and it's got an 87 degree temperature limit, all right? It gets nowhere near 87 degrees. And this is overclocked and everything. So whatever they've done on the GPU, it's just amazing. Now the CPU, it will reach 100. This is no surprise with, Dell or Alienware. Apple and Dell, they'll run to the thermal limit. That's what they do. So no matter if you're undervolt it, it's still going to go up there. I will say the only game that made this buckle with the minus 100 millivolt underclock, Battlefield 5, yes. Does it to pretty much every laptop. There are a few exceptions, but this one, yes, it won't maintain 100% of that 4 gigahertz when you're gaming on Battlefield, even with the undervolt. Now, without the undervolt, as you'll see, it can drop to about 3.2 or something like that. It was pretty good. It didn't give me any big stutters, and the 1% lows weren't that bad, but there are laptops that can maintain that 4 gigahertz the whole time, but none of the laptops had the GPU as cool as this one. This one is a cool custom and GPU temperatures. Just like, I don't even believe what I'm reading sometimes, especially when we're talking about these thinning lights. All right, the bigger, thicker gaming laptops, yes, every now and then, but mostly maintaining that 4 gigahertz with the undervolt. You don't undervolt, you can see it'll drop down. Yes, all these games 1080p Ultra and all of them 100 frames per second plus. Excellent gaming performance. The noise, it's a gaming laptop. It's going to deafen you like every other friggin' gaming laptop if you have it on full performance mode. That's just how it is. I really do enjoy gaming on it, and the benchmarks speak for himself. I've got a Red Dead benchmark at the end. Make sure you watch that at ultra settings, 1080p. Yeah, you could get more than 60 FPS. So that is really hard on the system. So that's the only one that was under 100 frames per second. Everything else, you're going to get the most use out of that display. Awesome gaming performance with this. The thermals are what they are. The CPU will be 100. It's a Dell, it's an Alienware. That's how they are. But at the end of the day, it's all about the gaming performance, and this has great gaming performance. So stay tuned for more reviews on this. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Tally ho.